Hello, Veronica. It's Mr. Shawn here to read another story today. I've enjoyed reading these stories to you over this time, although I miss talking to you on our calls that we had before we had to before you had to stop coming into school. Maybe Mrs. Loudin has been giving you assignments or checking in with you guys to see how you're doing. So I hope you're enjoying the stories. So today's story is Grow Your Own Room by Anne Harth. What do they mean by grow your own room? How would you do that? Looks like she's watering some plants here, so let's see what they're talking about. Jack lay on his bed. He turned a page. He was at the best part. Harry Hero was dangling from a cliff. A mountain lion stood over him. So what do you think dangling means from a cliff? Dangling usually means you're hanging there, so you're holding on to something and you're not touching the ground and you're kind of in the mid air in the middle of the air with nothing around you. So it'd be a pretty scary situation. Hey, someone snatched his book away. Come and get it, Jackie, Bart. Come and get it, Jackie. Bart clutched the book and ran from the room. Jack raced after him. What are they doing? Are they just being brothers and being crazy? Let's see. Mom, he yelled, tell him to give it back. Bart, Mom called, stop annoying your brother. Bart threw the book into the kitchen sink and ran back to the bedroom. Threw it in the kitchen sink. I hope there was no water in it. You want to take care of your books. You don't want to get them wet, because then they don't dry out. Mom wiped off his book. I wish I had my own room, he said. Ah, Mom sighed. I wish you did too. Jack wandered outside. Maybe he could find some privacy. So it sounds like the two brothers share a room. Do you share a room with your sister and maybe somebody else? When I was growing up, I shared a room with my two brothers. I was the oldest boy, and then I had one sister, and she always got her own room. And I was always a little mad because I didn't have my own room, but that's okay. It was fun to have two brothers in my room too at many times. It was fun to talk to them. But now, as I grew older, I had my own room from time to time. Not always. I always When I was in the military, I had to sleep in another with another person in the room, sometimes two or more. I was in one place when I was training, I had to sleep in a room with about 40 other people. So lots of noises there, but you get used to it. He looked around. The yard was bare. A sunflower grew in a large pot near the back fence. There's the sunflower. Do you grow sunflowers? They get really tall, and then their seeds are kind of in this round area, and when they dry out, you can eat them. At school, they had grown sunflowers from seeds. Jack touched the petals. The flower towered over him. You know what towered over him means? It means it's higher, that's taller than he is, much taller than he is. So you feel small. That's what towered means. The flower was bigger than his head. Yeah, sunflowers get really big. Flower part gets really big on some of them. Jack scraped his finger along the middle of the flower. Seeds fell onto the ground. Jack picked them up. The small striped seeds covered his palm. Jack smiled. He had an idea. Uh-oh, what's he gonna do? Look at it's like that piles, or they're calling seeds in his hand. Palm of his hand is, see how his hand is turned up like that? And where the seeds are, that's called your palm. He found a stick and dug lots of small holes. They were in the shape of a circle. The circle was big enough to sit in. Jack dropped a sunflower seed in each hole. He covered them up with dirt and sprinkled them with water. He's dug a hole there. He's putting seeds in. They think he's doing. Every morning, Jack visited his seeds. He sprinkled them with water. After 3 days, tiny green shoots popped through the ground. They made a bright green circle in the backyard. There they are. That circle look big enough for someone to be in, though? Doesn't look like it, but maybe because for the keep the picture smaller, they had to do that. Jack stood in the middle of it and spun around. It's going to work, he whispered. I guess you can stand in the middle of it. The shoots grew thicker and taller. He reached they reached Jack's knees. They grew a bit more. They reached Jack's waist. They grew even more. They reached Jack's shoulders. Whew. So where's your waist? Is it down here or up here? No, your waist is right here, kind of where the top of your pants are. Jack watered his plants every day. Buds finally appeared at the top of the stems. They grew larger and fatter. One day they burst open. So, do you know what buds are? Just before a flower pops out, it's like a green, I don't know. See, like here, these are leaves, but sometimes they're kind of fatter and rounder, and they have there's the flowers inside there. So they're called buds before they become flowers. Jack ran upstairs and grabbed a book. He raced into the yard and stepped between two sunflower stems. He turned slowly. Well, it looks like he's reading his book standing up with all the sunflowers around him. Do you read standing up? I like to sit down or maybe lay down and read. It's a little bit easier to hold the book that way. The stems were thick and green. The sunflowers bobbed toward him and created a shady spot. Jack sat down. There he sat down. Yeah, the flowers are so tall and big, they would create shade, definitely. So that would be a nice place to stop and sit and read a book. The back door slammed open. Jack, Bart called. Where are you? Jack was still. He opened his book. Jack! Bart's voice sounded far away. So Bart can't see Jack because he's surrounded by all the flowers, huh? Jack grinned. He had his own room. He turned a page. Harry Hero was in trouble again. Uh-oh. Now he's by himself. Nobody's around, so he can read on his own. How much time passes from the beginning of the story until the end? When won't Jack be able to enjoy his new room? So, how much time passes? Did it say? I don't remember. Are you seeing? Well, it took 3 days at least to get the small shoots popping through the ground. So, that's 3 days. They grew thicker and taller. They reached his knees. They grew a bit more. They reached his waist. They grew even more. They reached his shoulders. He watered his plants every day. One day they burst open, stepped between two sunflower seeds. Huh, doesn't really say. We have to. It takes 3 days for them to pop up out of the ground. I would say it probably takes at least a month or more, 30 days to grow. I would probably say closer to 60 days. But when will he not have his own room? When will he not be able to enjoy his new room? What do you think? Do plants live forever? Certain ones do, I guess, but sunflowers don't. So probably in the winter time or when it gets colder and the sunflowers stop growing and die, he won't have a room to go into. So he would have to plant some more seeds again and create another new room. So he probably had his own room for a couple of months, 3 months maybe. So there's just things to think about and to do. All right, Veronica, that's the story for today. That was kind of an interesting story. Maybe you can grow some plants or some sunflowers even in your backyard. And once they're done, you could actually eat the sunflower seeds. All right, Veronica. Until next time. Bye bye.